Welcome to Ruby on Rails webinar series from jpassion.com. Today's topic is authentication using device. So let's move on with the presentation. So these are the set of topics that we are going to cover. So we have about 10 minutes presentation, and we're going to actually do hands-on lab exercises for each of these topics. So let's talk about what device is first. So device is a popular authentication solution for Rails application, and it is a complete MVC solution based authentication. So you can actually have authentication on all MVC the components. And we're going to see how we can do model-based authentication as well as controller-based authentication. And it allows you to have multiple roles. For example, you can have user role or you can have admin role. So those are actually models. These models are in fact the representing users and admins. And it's based on modularity concept. This is pretty powerful concept. So they have, in fact, the 12 modules, and we're going to actually look into each of these modules. So modules are representing functionality of device as authentication gem. So let's take a look at these device modules. Database authenticatable. So each of these modules will be represented in your model class. Later on, we'll see an example of that. So database authenticatable module. If you enable this particular module, it lets you encrypt and store password in the database. And this authentication can be done through POST request or HTTP basic authentication. A token authenticatable module lets you sign based on authentication token, and sometimes it's called a single access token. And again, this token can be given through query string or HTTP basic authentication. Omni auth is basically lets you authenticate through various other authentication providers such as Twitter, Facebook, Google, and things like that. We are going to actually cover OmniAuth later on in second the authentication presentation. So we are not going to cover OmniAuth today. Conformable, it lets you send an email for confirmation. So this is typically done in various authentications in your daily life. I'm sure you have seen examples of this. Recoverable module lets you reset, let the user reset the password and also send the reset instruction. Registerable basically is a module that lets you let a user to sign up, for the account and let them to edit or destroy their account as well. Rememberable manages generating and clearing a token for remembering the user from the saved cookie. Okay? So this is again is typically what you see in your typical web application. Tractable, track sign-in account, count and timestamps and IP address. So it maintains that information. Timeable, timeout-able module that the sessions to expire when there is no activity in a specific period of time. Okay? Validatable provides validation on email and password. This validatable, is optional. So you can actually, you can actually disable this validatable. Then you can actually provide your own custom validation logic. Lockable means if a user tried to log in multiple times and failed, then the account will be locked in. Okay, and it can unlock via email or after specified time period. All right, so those are set of modules. Okay, so let's move on to getting started with device. So getting started with device is pretty simple. You take a few simple steps. First, you're going to install device gem to your application. So you're going to change your gem file and add device gem, and then you're going to bundle and install or bundle. And then you're going to generate device configuration files. So you're going to say Rails generate and device install. And then we're going to add models, user model or admin model. So here, if you say Rails generate and device user, then it will generate a user model with a set of modules pre-configured. All right, so let's do our first exercise. Our first exercise is getting started. So we are going to start our application, brand new application. So I have already done that. So you say Rails new device app, and so new application get started. And here we're going to actually scaffold on students. So, let's try to scaffold the students. So we have some basic uh, model. So student has name and age. And then we are going to create students table through migration. So we're going to say rake db migrate. Rake db. Okay. So students table should be created. And then we are going to modify sys.db file so that we can have some test data. Okay, so we are going to create 3 students records. Okay, so we are going to sys. Okay, and I'm going to just copy these 3 lines of code. Okay, and we save the change. I'm going to just remove this. Okay. All right. And then we are going to create the sys data by saying rake db seed. Rake db seed. So those sys.db file gets executed. So we now have a 3 student records. Okay. And we're going to modify browse.db file so that we have root the URL going to students controller and it goes to index. Okay, so routes.db file. So we are going to go here, root. Right here. And we're going to say students. Oops. Okay. All right. Save the change. And we're going to also remove index.html file. Oops. So we go to public and we go to index file and we're going to delete it. Okay. All right. Now, now we're going to actually add device gem to the application. So we're going to actually modify gem file. So here we are going to add gem device. So we're adding device gem, and then we're going to perform bundle install. Bundle. You can just say bundle. All right. So it's installed. Okay. So we just did that. And then we are going to generate device configuration file. So when you run this one, it will create two files. One is called the device RB file on the initializers. So that basically contains configuration information of device. And then it also generates a message file, a YAML file on the locale. So this is English version of the older messages that are relevant to running device-based authentication. So let's run let's generate device install. So here, Rails generate device install. And then it will actually let you know, a few files you want to change. Okay. All right. So we're going to actually make some of those changes. So you can just take a look at the device RB file. So if you take a look at the device RB file that has been created. It's actually created under config initializers directory, meaning this configuration file is used just once. Okay, so whenever you make a change in this configuration file, you have to restart the server. Okay, in our case, we have not started the server yet, so that's irrelevant. Okay, so you can see this contains all the configuration. Okay, so for example, later on we're going to actually change some of the this configuration. For example, password length is set between 8 to 128 characters. So meaning if your password that you have entered is less than 8, that's invalid password. Okay. All right, and you can also take a look at the device en YAML file. So that is on the locale. So it is on the config and the locales, and this is all the messages. Okay, so these are all the messages in English. All right. Now we are going to configure device. So we are going to, for example, so you are going to set the default URL option for mailer. We are not going to actually do some mailer here in this exercise, so it's probably not needed. But this is a suggestion you want to actually, to follow. So we're going to actually change the device RB file. Development RB file on the environment. Okay. So here we are going to set the default URL option for mailers. So we're going to add. And we save the change. And then we are going to see the notification on sign up and sign out and sign in by displaying the notice and alert. So we're going to actually change the application.html ELB layout file. So every time those actions happened, we are going to see some message. Okay, so we are going to go app and views and layout, and this is the root layout that we want to change. So here we are going to just copy these 2 lines of code. Okay. So basically we are going to just see the notification. And now we are going to generate a user model. Okay. So here you can actually generate like admin or user, but typically you're going to actually generate a user. So it will in fact generate a user model with a migration file, and then it also set the users in routing. Okay, so we'll see those things. So we are going to make sure that we save all the changes, and then we are going to generate the device user. Rails generate device user. And let's take a look at the user model class once user model has been generated. So in this user model, you are going to in fact see all the modules. Okay, so let's open user. So here, as you can see, these are the modules that are enabled. Okay, and these are the modules that have been disabled. Okay, so we are using database for maintaining password, registerable, recoverable, rememberable, tractable, and validatable. Okay, and as a default, it's going to use email as authentication key. So you see email and password confirmation fields in this, and also remember me column. So these are all the columns. Okay. All right, so that is the user RB file. So we just take a look at that. And now if you take a look at the migration file, you can see the migration file is for generating users table. So let's take a look at the migration file. So we are going to go db migrate, and this is a migration file. So as you can see, it's creating users table, and for each module, it will in fact create the email and the encrypt password. So you can see this migration file has the method for each of those modules that are relevant. Okay, so later on, if you want to actually enable conformable, then you can just uncomment this, and then you can actually restart your migration from the beginning, and then this conformable, the table column will be created. All right, so that is migration file. So we are going to perform this migration, meaning we are going to create a users table with these columns. Okay. All right. So let's do that. So rake, and db migrate. So it will create the users table. Now, one more thing that we want to take a look at is the routing table. So if you take a look at the routes.rdb file, so this routes file gets this routes file is actually for the providing routes for these users. So we're going to actually see how that is going to be used in a few minutes. Okay. Routes.rdb file. So as you can see, this is now created device for users. So this is actually in fact added when we actually perform this command. Okay, so here the routes has been added, and this is what has been added. Okay. And we're going to actually take a look at the in fact the rake routes, what has been created. Okay, so if you take a look at the route that has been created by that one line in your routes.rdb file, these are the routes. Okay, so you can see now you can use like a user sign in, users sign in post, and so this is actually for creating brand new one, and this is the posting. This is the create, and this is destroy, sign out. And then you can also actually use, so these are the URLs you can use for performing some authentication. Okay, so we're gonna actually try that in the next exercise. All right, now we're gonna actually run the application. So I'm gonna actually use this one. So we are going to run the application Rails server. Okay. Right, so Rails is being started, and then we're gonna actually go to this URL. So this is in fact a sign up. Okay. So now we can actually sign things up. So here I can say I'm going to use any my mail here, and password is if you actually have a smaller password than the less than 8, you're going to actually have some error message like this. Okay. So you have to actually have at least 8 characters for password, because that is the configuration that was set up. So I'm going to say, oh, I forgot what did I say. Okay. And sign up. Now you can see, welcome, you have signed up successfully. So this is actually from notification message. Okay. All right. Now that is what we just have done. Okay. Now, if you try to users sign out, so I'm going to actually, use the one host users. So this is sign up, and we are going to use users sign out. So you are going to see no routes for this is available. Okay, so you might in fact ask, why that is the case. The reason is sign out message. Sign out has to be HTTP